guys, welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, The Bright Side Girl, and today we're going to do a reading goals video. So this video we're going to be talking about my reading goals in 2022 and how I did, and then my new ones I'm setting for 2023. So first up, I did so much better with my goals than I ever have before, and I feel like I wasn't even paying that much attention to them except for one, and I somehow hit almost all of them, which was really exciting. Goals are supposed to be like motivating and fun, but I try really hard not to majorly beat myself up if I don't hit them because there's just no point in that. So I use them there for like motivation and drive, but I try really hard not to like end the year saying like I did terrible or anything like that. So I always set my reading goal at 100 books, and that's what I did last year. We'll talk about this again in a minute. So I blew this out of the water, and it's created this conundrum that you guys can help me with. So I actually read 200 books in 2022. Now, if you're new to my channel, I love audiobooks. The majority of these were audiobooks, I think 140 of them. I do graphic novels, I do short audiobooks. I think I even had one or two like kids books in here because I just like reading everything. I mostly read young adult, which is a little easier to get through as well. And then I also listen to my audiobooks at a faster speed. So there's a lot of factors that come into play. Sometimes when you see these impressive numbers, they're not as impressive as they seem when you really kind of break it all down. But I'm still extremely proud of myself. The most I've ever read was 165, and I think that was the year that I discovered audiobooks and I was still physically reading a ton. And it was just kind of this beautiful meshing of the two. I don't even think I was listening to audiobooks quickly then. I'll talk about this again in a minute, but I'm so happy that it went so well. My next goal was to read more 5-star books. This was because in 2021 I only read 3 5-star books because I just had a really weird reading year, and I'm not a picky reader, but I am a little bit picky with my 5 stars. I need them to do something a little special to kind of pull at my heartstrings or make me feel the emotions. It doesn't have to be like a perfectly written book. It just has to like stick with me a little bit, and I am happy to say that I did this. I think I read 27 5-star books in 2022, but I think 12 of these were rereads, so I still only had like 12 or 14 5-star books, but so much better than the year before, and I found some new favorites. So purposefully did some things to kind of help out with this. I gathered lists from all my friends of their 5-star reads of the previous year, and I'm doing that again this year, by the way. And I did like a 5-star February where I read some of the books that my friends loved the most. That helped with this. I read some more hyped books. I'm really bad about reading hyped books sometimes because I will like saving them for a special time. But I read some more new releases that were really good, so I kind of curated this a little bit more, and I'm glad that it worked out. My third goal for last year was to crush the readathons, which I did more than I could have ever imagined. I read, I think, 20 books for Galaxy-a-thon, which was the largest amount that I read. A lot of graphic novels, a few short audiobooks. But overall, I just read a ton during the readathons. I had so much fun, was so interactive with all of you guys, were just extra into it. I just had such a blast. There will be a video announcing my 2023 readathons coming in just a couple days, so stay tuned for that. You guys made this more fun and special, and yeah, I just felt like all the readathons went so well. I had such a blast during all of them, and I read a ton of books, particularly during those 2-week readathons. All right, so the next goal I had was to get my unfinished series list down to 25. I started the year at 47 unfinished series. I had started within the last like 4 years when I had started really reading more and doing booktube. And I worked on this list all year. I did a ton of rereads to prepare for next books in the series. I really did a good job, I felt like, because I focused on it quite a bit. I did adjust this if I had like a 4-book series and I'd only read book 1. If I had read the next book in the series and I didn't like it, then I would just take that series off the list. So even though I didn't finish the series, I would still take it off the list because I didn't make myself read anything that I didn't really want to read, if that makes sense. And then I waited until the very end of the year, so just a few days ago, to add anything that I started new to the list. I got down to 29. I got really close. I honestly forgot that my goal was to get it down to 25. But I got really close, and a lot of these I only have 1 book left in the series. Again, we'll talk about this in a second and in a different video. But overall, I think I completed 25 series for the year. This includes new ones that I started. I know the math is a little weird if you don't know what's going on in my head, but it went really well. My last goal was to read more from favorite authors and favorite narrators. I didn't do very good with this. I read, I think, 4 books by Madeleine Roux, who's one of my favorite authors, and that was like the most that I read from a favorite author. So this is going on next year's list, so we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so for 2023, I'm very torn because I always set my Goodreads goal at 100 because I read between 100 and 150-ish books a year. But this year I hit 200 and putting it at 100 felt really silly. So I put it at 125, but I feel like I should change it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit 200 again, but then it's already the first week of the year and I've completed like 2 books already. And I don't plan on stopping the short books and the graphic novels and all of that jazz. I don't want to have to force myself to get to 200, but I feel like it might just happen naturally again with all of the books that I'm picking out. So I'm debating on putting it at 150 or should I just put it at 201? What do you guys think? I'm still doing great with the reading. I'm still very motivated. I've got a ton of short things I can still get to that I actually want to get to. So who knows? I feel like I didn't even hit my stride with reading last year until like July. And then from July on, I just consistently read a huge chunk of books every single month. We might start out even stronger this year. You guys let me know what I should set it at. Goal number 2 is to just physically read more often. I'm not going to set a specific number or anything like that. I think I physically read 60 books last year, but I think 25 of those were actual novels and not graphic novels or kids books or short things. So I would like to read more than that if possible, but really I just want to have the feeling that I'm reading more. I used to like read whenever we went to a coffee shop or when I was driving or before bed, and it just was like a natural part of my life, and I feel like I've kind of lost that. We have a TV in our bedroom now that we're going to move out of it. It really helps you fall asleep, by the way. I read somewhere that if you can read at least 10 minutes before bed, it will help you sleep and it will also make you feel more productive, and most people will read longer than that if they at least do the 10 minutes, but the 10 minutes takes the pressure off. So I want to just have the feeling that I'm physically reading more. So this is kind of more a loose goal. Goal number 3 is to read 5 nonfiction books. I used to read nonfiction almost exclusively in my mid to late 20s, and I kind of got burnt out on it because I read so much and I was just really trying to like get my life together and be more balanced and all that kind of stuff, and it was really good for me then, and I really want to get more into it but without too much pressure. So I just want to read 5 nonfiction books this year, and it doesn't have to be like self-help or motivating. It could be like I have this book called Wicked Bugs that's just about the nature of bugs and how they interact with each other, and it's by an author that I really like that did a really fun book called The Drunken Botanist. Stuff like that. I have a silly book about dinosaurs, but they're just written really fun, and so it doesn't have to be necessarily like how to get your crap together kind of a book, but I feel like this one's pretty easy. I've already got my first book lined up. Next goal is to get my unfinished series list down to 5. Now we're at 29 right now. I will have a whole video detailing how I'm doing this and all the stats and everything. So this means that not only will I knock off all the series that are currently on it, again, I can still get rid of them if I wind up not liking the next ones in the series, but also not adding too many new series. So this is a little bit tricky. I have a lot where I only have 1 book left, but I have quite a few where I have like 6 books left. We'll see how I do with this. I feel like it's totally doable though. I feel like I can read like 1 to 2 books a week to finish up some series and get to it pretty quickly. And then the last goal is very specific. I want to read all the books by A.G. Howard, who is an author I really enjoy. I've read Splintered by her. That series is on my unfinished list because I need to finish it up. I've read Stained by her that I really enjoyed, and then I recently read Shades of Rust and Ruin, which is one of my favorite Halloween reads. And she's just got a lot of retellings, a lot of whimsical books. She's got an adult vampire book. I think she's got like maybe 6 or 7 books that I haven't read yet. So this was just the author that I picked that I feel like I could get to the easiest and would just be the most fun. And then I also want to read the Throne of Glass series. I've only read book 1. This is on my unfinished series list, and I'm picking this as like my big series for the year. I think I'm going to do that every year, pick like 1 series that's like over 6 books to try and like get halfway through or finish if I can. And after I finish ACOWAR finally, this will be the most hyped series that I haven't read on my shelves, I believe. Okay guys, so that is everything that I'm planning for 2023 so far. Keeping it kind of easy. We have a lot more videos coming out for January. There's just a lot of things I'm excited about that I need to get to, so stay tuned for those. I'll link any of the previous videos down below in the description as well as up in the cards, and I will see you guys next time on The Bright Side.